Friday of Lent, and today we continue our spiritual exercises. What are the three things that we are making sure that we are renewing and making sure that we start doing again in case you have not been doing it? What are those three disciplines that every Christian must be doing in order to grow spiritually? They are prayer, fasting, and almsgiving and giving. So today I would like to focus on fasting, just to go a little bit deeper and give some practical tips about fasting. So one is fasting, meaning just one meal today, perhaps two small ones, and no meat. That's the basic teaching. There is an age limit here of supposedly you're within age, but I'm not even going to say that because you might use, then if that's the case, I'm not going to even talk about the age because we want everyone to have this discipline necessary to grow spiritually. So, but there is an age you have to research. I'm not even going to say it. Now, why do we fast? So just some practical tips. We fast, and today we'd like to focus on the principle that we fast so as to be fast in giving to those who are in need. We fast so that we may be fast in giving to those who are in need. Repeat after me. We fast so as to be fast to give to those in need. See, when you're fasting, and this shouldn't be a surprise, when you're fasting, you should feel hungry. The whole point is you feeling the hunger. And when you do, to be a reminder, if this is me right now willingly embracing this discipline as to feel the hunger, but I have a choice. I just go to the refrigerator and grab a sandwich right now. But I choose not to. So, first, the fact that I feel hungry should remind me of how hunger feels like. And to know that people do go hungry. You could go to the refrigerator and take care of your hunger. There are people who don't have a choice, who are hungry right now as I preach. So when you're fasting and you're beginning to feel the hunger, I'm hungry, then immediately go into, I forgot how hunger feels like, and there's people right now that are hungry. And then you link yourself spiritually. This is an act of solidarity. I'm going to hunger with those who hunger. And in doing so, you're creating a sensitivity in yourself so that if you see someone hungry, you'll be fast to give because you're reminded of how does it feel to be hungry. And boy, it's not a good feeling. And this is just partial. There are people who live constantly feeling the hunger. So it equips us with a sense of compassion to feel for the other. Therefore, if you're feeling the hunger, then you can feel with someone who is hungry. And when you see someone hungry, then you fast because then it makes you fast to give to someone in need. Also fast knowing that there is food in the refrigerator. We fast knowingly and willingly, which is kind of crazy, but that's part of our discipline. It would be similar to, I go to the gym to exercise and feel the soreness the next day. Well, yeah, that's part of it, but in doing so, you grow healthy. So we choose willingly not to eat, and we feel the soreness of the muscle of our will and of our hunger. But I want, but no, today we're not. But I want to, and it's there, yeah, but you're not. what begins to happen here, you're also strengthening your willpower. Your body shouldn't be in charge. Every time you feel hungry, shouldn't be the time you eat. You should eat when you say we're going to eat. And you should stop eating when you say we're done. Not when the passions want to eat, perhaps when you're not even hungry, or want to keep eating because now you're eating frenzy. No. This is a way of strengthening our will as to deal with our passions. Because if we don't, it'll take over. So we fast as a choice, willingly, consciously, so as to discipline ourselves, to have a sense of willpower over our own passions. Just because I feel like it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. So right now there's two principles that I've shared so far why we fast. All of them, once again, leading us to fast as to be fast to give to those in need. So as you grow in this strengthening your willpower to say no to something that is good and your body needs it, just to train yourself and to have a strengthened willpower to say no, even when there's a need and a desire, that also equips you that when you see someone in need, you have the strength of the willpower to say, we're going to go the extra mile and help someone. But I don't feel like it. I just want to stay here. It's not safe. Oh, I don't. Get up. We're going to do this. Why? Because I'm the one in charge here, not you, lazy passions. So this is a way of strengthening us. We fast so as to be fast to give to those in need. Now, I finish with today's first reading as a third reason, not so much why we fast, but more of how. So this is Isaiah chapter 58, verse 1 to 9. So here, Prophet Isaiah is speaking, there's this conversation in regards to God. We're doing all this fasting and you're not listening to our prayers. Well, we don't fast so that God will hear us. We fast so that we can be quicker to hear those who are in need. Anyways, so now, here's the complaining, why I don't hear our prayers? And then God responds saying, am I going to hear your prayer? That when you are fasting, you're doing this, all these evil things, and I'm going to listen to you. So just because you're fasting does not mean that all of a sudden you will open the heavens and God is going to hear your cause. Therefore, the more you suffer, the more you cause God to hear you, to be moved, to respond. That's manipulation, emotional manipulation, if you want to say. But that's not what we fast. Once again, we fast so as to be fast to give to those in need. But how we fast? Notice in the first reading it says, this is the type of fast that I want. One that leads you to release those bound unjustly. A fast that leads you to untying the thongs of the yoke. A fasting that leads you to setting free those who are oppressed. A fasting that leads you to break every type of yoke. Now, as you're fasting, allow that to be a moment of leading you into prayer. Okay. Who do I have bound that through my fast I am being encouraged to release? And I'm not expecting you to have people enslaved in your house and tied up to the door and every time you ask something they get up and do it. It might. I don't know. How do you treat your spouse? You treat your spouse as someone who's bound to serve you, and release the one who is bound. Do you have a family member who, in humility, came up to you and asked you to forgive them, and you haven't? Release the bound. Perhaps something happened in the past, and perhaps the person is not asking for forgiveness, but you are tying and oppressing in the spiritual realm the other with your hatred, with your anger, with your desire for vengeance, release the ones who are bound. Who are you bounding emotionally, spiritually? And who is God asking you to release? And often, the best form of release is just to forgive. Forgive those who harm you. When you fast, it should encourage you to be fast to give to those who are in need. And one way of giving is releasing those who we have yoked, oppressed, bound by our own struggles. That's one. Then the first reading continues saying, sharing your bread with the hungry. Actually, that would be so beautiful. That the food that you are not eating by a choice, so as to train your willpower over your passions and as to be fast to give to those in need, that you literally take that food that you otherwise would have eaten and give it to someone. A direct connection. I want to eat this. I want to go through the fast food and get my typical whatever. Or maybe instead of going to my favorite coffee shop, and to actually take that money, or even what you would have bought, and to give it to someone else. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Your passions are gonna be like, oh, that was a low point, but I'm telling you who's in charge. This is what I would have eaten. I want to eat it. I'm hungry, and I'm gonna take this and not eat it and give it to someone else. Do that. But make sure that when you're doing, you're sharing your bread with the hungry. Now, there is the physical hunger, but there's also the emotional hunger. Who just needs you to say to them, I love you. I miss you. Who needs to be fed with your attention, your love, your affection, your care? Who is that person? Let your fast inform to whom you need to share your bread with. Sheltering the oppressed and the homeless. If you see today a homeless, someone asking you, be fast to give. Oh, but I don't want to feed their alcoholism or their drug addiction. That is their problem, and they will have to deal with it. You give because you are fasting, and I am fast to give. I hope you see someone homeless today. Or perhaps I hope today your eyes are open to see the homeless that's been around you all this time. And now that you're fasting, your eyes have become open to see because you're looking for someone you can serve. We fast as to be fast to give. It also says, clothe the naked when you see them. You know, I was doing this yesterday. It's like, that's a good practice. If you want to fast, then a good technique to focus, a good technique not to be overpowered by the hunger that you will naturally feel is busy yourself with doing something that will distract you from the lower passions asking you for food or for whatever you're struggling with. Get busy doing something good, and your mind will be now focused on something else and less of the distraction and temptations to do what you're trying not to do. For example, let's say right after Mass is when you go to your favorite breakfast place. Well, if you're in that routine, maybe instead of going to the breakfast place, you go straight home and empty your closet. There's a bunch of things you haven't used in months. You think you're going to use it? And the list of things that you have there waiting when you lose weight so that you can use, maybe it's time to let go. Or the things that you had when you were heavy set and now you're skinny in case you need it, time to let go. Or maybe the shoes that you have not used in a year but it has such an emotional value, let go. Busy yourself clothing the naked, those who are in need, Instead of going to the refrigerator, to the kitchen, to the restaurant, or the things that you know will lead you to want to eat, or whatever you're struggling with, do something positive instead. And specifically, clothe the naked that you see. And the last one that the first reading says is not turning your back on your own. The greatest task of evangelization, the hardest of all missions, is at home with your own, with your family. Don't turn your back to your own. As you fast, let the fast inform you of what you can do, and be fast to give to those who are in need.